What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, I do want to go ahead and apologize. I feel like my microphone quality has changed a little bit. I can't really tell. It seems like it might be my recording software, which it never did before. So I'm going to have to do some work behind the scenes to see if I can fix that over. But I do want to go ahead and get this video out here because, as we all know, it was the final day of the Modern Warfare 2 beta, and I want to go ahead and give my final impressions of how I feel about the overall experience, and I'm not talking about the minimap or dead silence or anything of that sort. I already expressed my opinions about that stuff, and you can see it in any of my previous videos, but I want to go ahead and just talk about the actual performance of this game, how it ran, and also how the developers handled community feedback. And one last thing before we get into the topic of today's video, I do want to mention that today is a massive day for Battlefield 2042. And I know if you're probably watching this video, you're a Call of Duty fan, you don't care about Battlefield, but if you do have any interest in, any of the bug fixes, glitch fixes, and also the map reworks that they're bringing into the update today, you can check out my live stream, which the link to that is down in the description of this video. We stream over on Twitch, and we do it pretty much every single day. We're there for 5, 6, sometimes even 7 hours. So you have plenty of time to hop in, say hello, check out the update, hear opinions from not just me, but the whole community we have going on there as well. It's an awesome time. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, today we're going to be talking about the beta of Modern Warfare 2. And I gotta say, after having it gone for about a full day, I'm going to be honest, I low-key miss it. I was really grinding out, putting out some hours in this game. And I said it multiple times in the past, despite all of the problems that the game currently has. I mean, the minimap is huge and crucial. Dead silence is huge and crucial. The community has screamed and shouted all these things multiple times. But when it comes down to the core fundamentals of this game, the new map designs, the gunfights, the interactions, it's actually, really enjoyable. It's a pretty decent Infinity Ward title, and I had tons of fun playing it throughout the beta. And, now that the beta is gone, I don't know what to do. I guess I'm going to be going back and playing old school COD titles. Once again, I'll be streaming those all the time, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 2, but that's the only thing that's going to really keep my interest. Maybe Overwatch 2, I'll give that a shot, but again, that's not really my type of game, but I will give it a shot and see, if I enjoy the new version of it. But seriously, I have not had this much fun with a beta in a long time. We've seen multiple betas come and go when it comes to the whole Call of Duty franchise, but when it comes to the actual performance of this game, this is probably the best performing beta I've played in a very long time throughout this whole franchise. And it just proves to me that they did get extra time Infinity Ward, because that's the whole purpose of Vanguard. Vanguard was put out to give Infinity Ward more time to put together their game. And now playing their game, I could tell, 110%, Activision definitely has a bias towards Infinity Ward. And, Treyarch and Sledgehammer are the guys that have to suffer through all the crap while Infinity Ward gets all the, the pleasures and relaxations and, all the freedom within their games. But I gotta say, when it comes to overall performance of the title, it was really good. I didn't get any frame droppage. The game worked perfectly fine. I was actually able to run this game on pretty much all high ultra settings, and it still ran phenomenally. And I had my frames capped at 120-ish, and it dropped here and there, but it stayed pretty consistent across the board. Even Ground War, and I'm going to make a whole different video about Ground War because that is blowing my mind here. But Ground War is so in-depth this year that I didn't even think it was going to be possible to, make it run properly. But Ground War runs just as good as 6v6. Like I said, I am very impressed, and you could tell that they actually took advantage of having multiple studios on this game. Unlike other games like Battlefield 2042, where they pulled all the developers off of different titles to come work on their game. I guess the problem with Battlefield 2042 is that a lot of the developers that they brought over don't even make FPS games. Like, for example, they brought Need for Speed developers over to help with the production of Battlefield 2042. So, I mean, they're still developers. They know how to put stuff together, but I don't know if that makes a difference because Modern Warfare 2 had all the developers. I mean, Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and Sledgehammer Games. They all make COD titles, and they're all working on this game right here. And honestly, I can kind of feel a little influence of each development team in this game as well. So you could tell that they put a lot of effort behind this game, and Activision knew that the Modern Warfare name is extremely popular, And even if the game doesn't turn out as good as we all expect, they know that this title is going to make money regardless just because of its name alone. So I guess maybe they thought at least make it playable and work functionally, and it did. Now, of course, the beta wasn't 100% smooth, It was a pain, and I made a video about this. It was a pain in the butt even getting into the servers. You would sometimes have to wait hours to be able to get into the game, and that was all weekend long. I mean, this wasn't a random thing. No, that was from the second you would try to load up the game on the closed beta access for people who pre-ordered, all the way to the very end of the open beta access. Everybody across the board, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, were having tons of trouble getting into this game. So that was a huge problem, along with also people getting falsely banned for cheating in a beta. Makes no logical sense. So, it goes both ways. The beta wasn't the best experience. Honestly, I wouldn't even suggest people trying to play this game on the beta because, to be honest, it was a waste of time for people who have limited time on their hands. I'm thinking of the people who work all day long or go to class all day long. You guys only have, 30 minutes, maybe an hour to hop on the game. I don't want you guys wasting it trying to, spend 5 hours getting into the lobby. It's pointless at that point, Don't waste your time on it. And the same thing for PC players or just anybody on that category. You could get falsely banned, so it's rough there, but when it comes to the actual performance, the full game's release, I think, is going to probably be one of the best when it comes to bugs, glitches, optimization, all of the above. But just because Activision put a massive portion of their budget towards making sure the optimization of this game turned out okay, and to make sure that the developers who are working on this game got extra time to make sure it was polished off before release, just because they did that doesn't mean they made good game decisions, development decisions. How did the developers handle the community feedback? I gotta say, this year around was probably the best year we have ever seen when it comes to any Call of Duty dev responding to their community. Even better than Sledgehammer Games. Sledgehammer Games impressed me a little bit when the game was in beta, but it fell off completely once it launched. All communication was completely cut. Now we gotta see if Infinity Ward is about to pull the same exact crap. But to be honest with you guys, even if they do pull the same stuff and don't talk to us within the original release, which I really hope they don't, I hope they stay and communicate with us. This is the best I've ever seen any development team communicate with their community because they actually addressed us. You know how we always say, just tell it to us straight. We say this to any developer, not just, Call of Duty devs, Battlefield devs, Rainbow Six Siege devs, whatever game you enjoy. We always tell them the same thing. Just give it to us straight because, it's better to know the answer, even if it's, in a bad way. It's better to know than to be left in the unknown. And we're sitting here guessing what's going to be happening in the future. It's better knowing that they refuse to fix the minimap instead of knowing that, the whole community is talking to them. We're all voicing our opinion about it, but we have no clue what's actually happening behind the scenes. So in my opinion, the communication was superb. They touched on pretty much all the topics. The footstep noise, the minimap, dead silence becoming a perk, everything that we complained about. Even the perk system itself, they actually addressed. But here's the problem, though. They didn't take advantage of what the beta is all about. The beta is there to test out certain features in the game. There's actually a minimap in the coding. You guys know this, correct? Before this game was released into its beta form, the minimap was actually working. So the developers behind the scenes thought that it was a good idea that instead of testing the minimap to see if it might actually work and the community might like it, they're just going to strictly remove it completely altogether out of the experience and force us to play without it. Not even considering putting it in during any of the beta phase. Like I said, they didn't use the beta properly. Footstep noise, I can understand that they might wait until the overall build and they'll mess around with it, test things with it, because that's something they can do behind the scenes. Footstep noise, you don't need an absolute genius to give them any feedback about it. And honestly, you wouldn't think you need an absolute genius to give feedback about a minimap or anything of that sort, but apparently nowadays, maybe we do. But it seems like such a simple thing to change, Put dead silence in as a perk and see if it might actually work in this new perk system. Everybody says that, it might not work because you only get it at the end of the game, so it might be completely boring, but we don't know. We could have tested it. We could have tested it in the beta, and we could have gave our feedback, and then we would know. We would have an official answer. Same thing with the minimap, We don't know if Modern Warfare 2 would be better with a minimap. It might actually make the game worse. Who knows? I obviously want to make the game worse, but I'm just saying, we haven't tried it in the game, so who knows? Give it to us. Let us test it. If the feedback you still get is that the no minimap is better, then go ahead, take it back out. But if the feedback is overwhelmingly positive about the minimap, then what's going to make the game better. That's what betas are for, to make the game better. I understand nowadays that betas are glorified demos, but seriously, they should really be taking advantage of these moments, especially in the early phases before the game is officially launched, before the game is in everybody's hands, and it's too late at that point, Real, legit criticism is going to be coming out the doors at that point. We're in beta still. The criticism is constructive criticism because this isn't the official build yet. But once that game leaves and everybody's coughing up money for it and they have to pay 60 to 100 bucks, well, I'm sorry, 70 to 100 bucks, because I forgot, games got more expensive now, but they have to pay all that money for it, the criticism is not going to be constructive. It's just going to be pure, utter rants and bashing. And trust me, at that point, you kind of, gave it to yourself, Infinity Ward. We tried to help, but if you don't want to take our help or you don't want to even test our help, then what can we say? It's as easy as flipping a switch to put the minimap on. And if it's bad, it's easy as turning off that switch. They're making it seem like they have to code the world into this game in order to get this to function. And I don't think that's a really good move on their end. So I gotta say, my overall experience within this beta, it was really fun. I had a good experience. I miss it. I want to play it still. I gotta be honest. This is the most I've ever wanted to play a COD. Usually by the end of the beta, it's dying out for me. I actually still want to get back into the experience. I want to see what other weapons are going to be in this game. I want to see the rest of the map designs in this game because I love them all in the beta. I'm curious to see what else there is. I'm excited, but I'm also extremely stressed and worried that these developers aren't competent enough to polish off a game and make it good. You know, this game right now in its current state is an absolute gem, but it is the absolute, crappiest dogged out gem you have ever seen. It's been through mud, dirt, whatever you could think of. It needs massive, massive polishing, but this isn't a turd that's covered in sprinkles. Not at all. It's not like you pluck the sprinkles off and it's a turd there. No, it's a gem covered in a turd, If you polish it, it can become something good. It's there. This game is literally there. It's just up to the competence of the developers if they're willing to make the changes and, drop their egos for a second and let the community help them. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. Bums, I hate it. Leave a dislike. Also, for brand new, enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Also, want to chat me, this is who we do so. I have Twitter and Discord. Put the link down in the description. And also want to catch me live streams of video games over on Twitch. Link that is in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you all next one. Peace out.